the applications economy, I think extremely relevant from a perspective of what's happening around us with the entire media entertainment landscape. A couple of months back, there was a cover story in the Wired magazine stating the web is dead. And when you opened it inside, it essentially talked about, long live the internet. In a nutshell, what has happened the last 3 or 4 years is today, even though we have close to about 2.5 billion people who are accessing the internet and about 5 billion people who who have mobile phones, in the last 3 or 4 years, the entire concept of accessing the internet via a browser has suddenly collapsed, and we are able to now, in a converged environment, looking across devices which can get you connectivity, and that's what the initial term for this was widgets, which then subsequently went on to become what we term as the applications economy of sorts. So let me just tickle your imagination with a little video to begin with, to kind of set the pace. Unfortunately, not a scene out of some futuristic film, a scene which you will all get to experience. I think we will all get to experience, and certainly in India as well, absolutely now. If you look at it, we're one of those rare markets in the world which in 12 months will move from 2G to 4G. We were behind the world when it came to edge and basic services, 3 years when it came to 2G services. Behind the world by 9 And now, as we embark into early part of next year into LTE, we will pretty much be at neck and neck with the world. So what is this, app economy which is suddenly sort of captured? There are close to about 130 different app stores that have emerged across the world, across telecom companies, device manufacturers. In a matter of about 2 years, there are close to about 20 billion applications which have been consumed. And again, taking away from the geeky side to the simple side, that essentially with connected devices, we are beginning to access the internet through numerous other form factors. I mean, we ourselves as a small little company are today working with 90 different device manufacturers across 6 different segments, from automobiles to televisions to white goods. And I think, you're only going to see this in a lot more. So it's not just phones and tablets. It is this entire connotation of what will be connected devices. It's projected that by 2015, there could be close to about 10 billion devices across the world which would be internet connected. And I think, when you look at the opportunities for the media industry in this, it is really huge. So whether it's, coming from your conventional forms of phones and tablets, to televisions, to white goods, to automobiles, to refrigerators, no wonder, we as a market are an important market when it comes to any of the large format entities which are looking at growing this entire segment out here. So projections suggesting that in another year and a half or so, these numbers would probably be closer to 50 billion applications which would have been consumed. Let's just look at, and I'm consciously moving very quickly in interest of these multiple sessions which have been bundled in. If you look at just the analysis of what kind of applications, today there are about 500,000 apps that have been developed across 22 different industry categories. And within this, the space of entertainment is a large contributor to that. So this is, if you look at games, entertainment are accounting for as much as about, 40% of the app economy is being. Books, the publishing business gets a huge impetus with the applications economy. Again, a big contributor to our media industry, and I think, we are likely to see a lot of scope coming forward in that. The other big trend is, if you keep aside the last 2 years, the entire access to the internet has been through what we term as, it's like a desktop, laptop. You're kind of moving in an environment wherein it's using a keyboard, you're typing in. In the last few months, if you notice, the form factor is changing, and that form factor is moving to, touch and voice in a very significant way. How this will, sort of unfold for consumers is also going to be very, very significant, because consumption of content via touch as a form factor or voice enabled will, grow extremely rapidly. And, an example which I always like to go, my 15-month-old niece plays around with her mother's iPad with different types of applications. The other day gets up to try and touch the television and does the little pinch on the television because, for her, that was supposed to expand something. And I think, that generation of youngsters that we will see will probably pave the way for. Today, when you look at it, India is about 120 million people who access the internet out of this so-called sort of 900 million mobile consumer base, of which maybe about 600, 650 are active customers. We will, over the next 4 years, move from this to close to 500 million consumers. In some ways, when you look at a market like China, which 6 years back was about 70 million users, is today about 450 million users. So, what they didn't have at that time was the advent of connected devices. And I think, that's really what the opportunity is unfolding here in front of us. So, I'm just going to, in the interest of time, skip past all of this. These were just examples of applications that have been done, but it's being done on television screens, on tablets. And a big component of this, which is obviously fueling is the entire social media. There was another video here, which I will let go, just again in the interest of time. So I think the media and entertainment economy must certainly look at this ecosystem very, very closely. It offers unprecedented opportunity, and it offers so in a manner whereby it also gives an opportunity for younger companies to potentially look at, a significant growth. But at this point in time in the Indian market, I think, the opportunity is as much there for mainstream entities as they would be, because we are still at only 20% of the threshold of what we will potentially be in the next 4 years.